Hey guys, it's Jeff Wood here. You might know me as Minolta1034, and I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the Master Chief Collection. Now, obviously the situation surrounding MCC has been shitty. It's been shitty. The game launched and it didn't work. It was broken for a long time. And to this day, there are still bugs and problems with it. Now, obviously, just like any other Halo fan, I was frustrated by the fact that MCC wasn't working correctly. You know, you pay the money for this game and it should be functioning. So what exactly happened with MCC? Why did it get launched before it was done? I'm sure that the idea or the concept of like, oh, if we push this game out broken, fans will revolt, was brought up in meetings and talks and everything like that. That was, I'm sure, discussed. Again, it's something important to note. 343 Industries, Microsoft, they're staffed by a whole bunch of really, really smart people. Now, don't get me wrong. Smart people make mistakes all the time. You know, nobody's perfect. And absolutely, smart people can even make huge, gigantic mistakes. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that they're not smart people. That just means that they're human. So I would say that MCC was absolutely a huge, gigantic mistake. And I think that it was partly because of the economic pressure coming from Microsoft. But I also think that it has partly to do with the current climate of game development. Now, over the years, games have become vastly more complex. I mean, back in the Super Nintendo days, you were getting games on like a 3 megabyte or 6 megabyte chip, right? And now we have DVDs or Blu-ray discs worth of data. You know, the amount of money and time that goes into a modern day game just isn't even comparable to games that were being developed even 20 years ago. The medium has grown up extremely quickly, and as such, I think that we're seeing some growing pains. One of which is the concept of fix it in post, which is actually a term from the film industry when you get a bad take or something like that, and the director or the producer, more likely, will tell you, just fix it in post, it'll be fine. And so I think that that sort of philosophy is starting to apply more and more to game developers. You've probably heard this before, but things like SimCity, Diablo 3, Master Chief Collection are all being pushed out, and oh, it's going to be a day one update. Don't worry, we're going to get a patch out. We're going to get a bug fix. Now, don't get me wrong. Initially, software patches were so great. I remember when Halo 3 got the first content update, melee contests were resolved so that you didn't feel like you were getting screwed all the time. Software patches and continual support of games allows them to grow and change in awesome ways. And it allows the developers to be reactive and fix problems, as well as react to suggestions or feedback from their community. And that's really cool. But the problem is that it's starting to become a crutch for broken games being pushed out and sold before they're even finished. I mean, even the idea of like alpha access on Steam and everything like that sort of revolves around this, right? It's like, we can develop the game as we go now. We can do the first few levels and everything like that. And that's kind of cool. And it does work to a certain extent, but the problem is that it doesn't always work. And it certainly doesn't work in this case. So one of the responses that you'll see online a lot is like, Microsoft's a huge company. Why don't they just hire some more developers? Why don't they get some people in there to work on it? Now, as I mentioned before, software is much, much more complex than it used to be. And so a piece of software like the Master Chief Collection is hugely complicated. And so even if Microsoft could hire more developers, which I'm sure that they did, those developers are only as fast as human beings. And a human developer is going to require a certain amount of ramp-up time and training to understand a project, and he's not going to be nearly as experienced or skilled as someone who's been working on it from the beginning. So oftentimes it doesn't make sense to bring in a bunch more people that are going to have ramp-up and training and learning and all of that, especially because, spoiler alert, the amount of people that you add to the project doesn't immediately mean that everything will be done instantly. There's a scientific term here called the Law of Diminishing Returns. What that basically means is that at a certain point, even though you're adding more and more and more things, you're just not getting the same reward out of it. Greenskull used a pizza analogy where people are building a pizza, but what I'd like to do is kind of invert that. So let's say that you're hungry. Right? So you're hungry and you want a pizza. The first slice you have, that's going to be pretty good pizza. You know what I mean? It's going to fill you up. It's going to be good. Second slice, oh yeah, you're full. You're feeling it. It's really good. Third slice, it's like, whoa, man, I already had a lot of pizza. It's like fourth slice, my hunger is complete. There's nothing more you can do for me. Fifth slice, why are you feeding me pizza? Is this some sort of Seven thing? Am I going to be murdered? Anyway, that's my little rant video for today. I'll be sure to edit in some Halo 5 footage or something like that so that you guys can get a distraction from this ugly thing. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time. Okay, so here's a cool little trick that me and Greenskull figured out. This is the little entryway cave tunnel area where you come into the start of the level, and if you get your pike over to the side there, you can fire some of the mines and actually get